Welcome. I'm Benjamin Bernstein with astroshaman.com, and this is my 2025 full year astrology forecast. It's called Awakening or Cataclysm, 2025 Gods of Change Astrology Forecast. 2025 is one of the most potent astrological years ever. By mid-year, all three outer planets will have entered new signs. Each outer planet will aspect the other two. And all three outer planets, also known as the gods of change, are coming together with unimaginable power into a game-changing aspect pattern. The two social planets, Jupiter and Saturn, also change signs, and the gods of change form potent aspect patterns with Chiron, Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars. As if that wasn't enough, 9 new moons, full moons, and eclipses spread throughout 2025 also light up Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. All of this boosts the outer planet's world-transforming power even more. Thanks so much for joining me. I record these forecasts as an audio podcast and a video, so take your pick. The video version includes detailed chart graphics. Be sure to subscribe to This Week in Astrology, and if you haven't already, be sure to click the link in the show notes for 2 chances to win a free Astrology Plus session with me each month. As I record this, there's plenty of major change happening around the world. Very briefly, we have the incoming Trump administration, Syria, Israel, Gaza, Hezbollah, and a destabilized Middle East, Ukraine, Russia, and North Korea, presidential impeachment in South Korea, unstable governments in Germany, France, and much of Europe, the rise of the radical right around the world, and increasingly extreme climate change. We also have AI spreading everywhere and the holy grail of artificial general intelligence, widely predicted by the end of the decade. Many believe AI will bring about the most rapid and profound technological revolution mankind has ever experienced. And, though not in the headlines, more and more ordinary people all around the world are attaining spiritual awakening. If enough people do this so that we hit a tipping point, the resulting planetary spiritual awakening could be a far more profound game changer than AI. Every astrology setup has low and high potentials. In many of the following interpretations, I'll introduce some negative potentials of an archetypal combination, immediately followed by its more positive possibilities. As you listen or watch, I invite you to contemplate how you see these energies already manifesting. Are you perceiving them in the people and social structures around you, in governments, institutions, or businesses, whether they're local, regional, national, or international? Most importantly, are you seeing these energies, whether they're showing up as high or low, in yourself? You may find it helpful to pause this recording here and there so you can mentally map what I'm saying onto your awareness and experience. In addition, there's so much information packed into this presentation, you may want to go through it again. I owe a tremendous debt of gratitude to the extraordinary astrologer Ren Butler, that's Rennbutler. Much of what I present here is based on content from his amazing book called The Archetypal Universe, which I enthusiastically recommend and link to in the show notes. In this book, Ren dives deep into the possible high and low expressions of 2 and 3 planet combinations. Years ago, when I interviewed him for my astrology podcast, Ren gave his generous permission for me to use material from the archetypal universe in my forecasting. Because how humanity chooses to use these archetypal combinations is so important at this pivotal moment in history, and because Ren has a stellar understanding of their vast range of possibilities, I have borrowed liberally from his ideas. I've also modified some to reflect my own understanding of reality. I accept full responsibility for those alterations. I'm also grateful to Microsoft's Copilot AI. I fed it Ren's sentence fragments, which it shaped into complete paragraphs. Some paragraphs came out perfectly, while others needed extensive editing. Copilot also created the bullet point summaries that end some sections, which I also edited as necessary. This wonderful AI helper saved me a lot of time by serving as my secretary. After doing all that, I updated what I had already written about some of these events. That's why, if you've been following my forecasts, some of this may sound familiar. Finally, I added additional content as new insights flowed in. I will start with the 3 outer planet sign changes: Neptune into Aries, Uranus into Gemini, and Pluto into Aquarius. Then we'll examine the individual aspects between the 3 outer planets, followed by the momentous mini grand trine they all create together. Then we'll move on to the social planet sign changes, Saturn into Aries and Jupiter into Cancer. And we'll dive into 6 potent aspects between Jupiter, Saturn, Chiron, Uranus, and Neptune in various combinations. We'll close with a brief look at other aspect patterns and lunations empowering the gods of change, along with some thoughts on how you can make the best use of all this astrological energy. The show notes contain timings and a table of contents, so you can jump right to a specific section whenever you wish. That's enough preamble. Let's dive in. Neptune in Aries. Neptune enters Aries on March 30th, starting his latest 165-year journey through the zodiac. He'll dip back into Pisces on October 22nd and then settle definitively into Aries on January 26 of 2026. He'll stay continuously in the sign of the Ram for over 12 more years through mid-2038. Now we're going to start with the alternation of lower possibilities, followed by the corresponding high side opportunities. Negative. A demoralizing sense of futility and pointlessness, coupled with weakness and lack of confidence, can lead to paralysis. This can result in feeling unprepared for life's challenges. Unfocused or stalled willpower can lead to procrastination. Positive. Embrace gentle and resilient strength as you cultivate a flexible approach to life. A soft ego and relaxed confidence can help you move effortlessly and smoothly. You can feel when being is better than doing. Trust your inner radar and sensitivity, following the path of least resistance to create change without arousing opposition. Negative. Misguided leaders or influencers can spread confusion. They may believe they have to blame others, wage holy wars, or hurt others to wake them up. Positive. Foster synergy with others through compassionate action and enlightened non-action. Embrace the ideal of being in the world but not of it, acting without attachment to results. Serve the less fortunate humbly, energized by your passion and faith. Negative. Stealth and cunning can lead to backstabbing and treachery with secret harmful actions and infiltration by hidden enemies. This can include subtle forms of aggression, including shamanic energy battles or dark magic. Positive. Avoid the futility of war and conflict by transmuting aggression into peaceful actions. Consider imitating Gandhi's tactic of neutralizing aggression through active pacifism and passive resistance. Let me tell a quick story about that. In my ayahuasca work, I've done ayahuasca for many years. I had originally worked for several years with a particular shaman. Then I started working with a different shamanic couple later. And twice in their ceremonies, the original shaman attacked me psychically in those ceremonies. And in the inner vision state, it looked like the armies of Sauron marching over the hill and looking to attack me. By that time, I had learned how to get into a unity state, at least, the unity I could access at that point. So when I saw them coming, I simply rose and sat in my awakened self, at least the most awakened part I could get to by then, but it was enough to be above them. And they just milled around looking for something to attack. I wasn't there, so eventually they gave up and withdrew. So after going through this cycle twice, he stopped attacking. So I learned, even when you're in a shamanic energy battle, by going to the high road and staying in the peaceful space and simply not counterattacking, that's a sure way to feed the dark side energy because that's their power zone. I was able to ward off those attacks by simply being nonviolent, non-responsive, and just holding my peaceful awakened state until they packed up and went home. Here's another negative. A feeling of guilt for having committed harmful actions in the past can lead to feelings of anguish, torment, or debilitation. Positive. Call on the healing power of your own divinity. If your ego-based efforts don't clear these challenging emotions, let your higher self or other allies do it for you. DIY techniques such as my free healing invocation can help. And that is simply where you delegate the healing to your own higher self with 7 words. You can learn about that with the link in the show notes, or simply go to astroshaman.com/invocations. There's a free video that teaches you that and the other invocations that I offer as well, all free. Here's another negative. Fruitlessly pursuing spiritual awakening, but never achieving it. This can feel like blindly groping through heavy fog, endlessly wandering with no clear sense of direction. Positive. Pursue whole states of consciousness and dynamic ecstatic experiences. Stalk the absolute and enter the mystery. Paradoxically, as you sacrifice your ego to the great dissolver in the inner realms, your divinely transformed ego becomes a far more effective ally to help you carry out your earthly mission. Continuing the paradox, you can simultaneously function as divine consciousness operating the human self and as a seamless integration of human and divine. So let's do a bullet point summary of the key points of Neptune in Aries. Negative, futility and pointlessness leading to paralysis, feeling unprepared, and procrastination. Misguided leaders spread confusion, blame others, and wage wars. Stealth and cunning result in backstabbing, treachery, and subtle aggression. Guilt from past harmful actions causes anguish and torment. Fruitless pursuit of spiritual awakening feels like wandering in the fog. Positive bullet points. Embrace gentle strength and a flexible approach to life. Cultivate a soft ego and relaxed confidence, following the path of least resistance. Foster synergy through compassionate action and enlightened non-action. Transmute aggression into peaceful actions, imitating Gandhi's pacifism. Call on divine healing power to clear challenging emotions. Pursue whole states of consciousness and dynamic ecstatic experiences, integrating your human and divine aspects. Next up, Uranus in Gemini. Uranus enters Gemini on July 7th. He'll make one return visit to Taurus on November 7th before settling into Gemini for about 7 years on April 25th of 2026. And by the way, I'm going to these negative positives because you may be experiencing some of the negative things during these transits, and you may be noticing negative effects in the world around you. I'm certainly not recommending that you go that direction, but it's important to be aware of what the challenges might be so you can introduce their positive opposites. So, a negative, nervous restlessness and overstimulation can keep your mind racing. Positive, delighting in mental novelty and stimulation leads to exciting interests and curiosity, along with a love for hobbies, games, and puzzles. These often result in sudden new ideas. Negative, impractical ideas can lead to erratic thinking and a lack of focus. This can cause unreliability and inconsistency. Positive, intellectual independence, originality, and inventiveness foster flexibility and openness to new ideas. These qualities lead to reason, foresight, and the perception of higher truths. Belief in the rational intelligibility of the world brings sudden liberation of the mind or senses. Exciting intellectual breakthroughs and insights follow, along with vision and inspiration. Negative, making quick, premature judgments or dropping comments out of the blue, paired with too much talking and lack of tact, can lead to upsetting surprises. An excessive need for intellectual autonomy, mental pride, and stubbornness can lead you to glorify intelligence and have a high and mighty opinion of yourself as brilliant or gifted. Positive, receiving intuitive flashes from your higher self can help you appreciate its vastly superior brilliance, which no human could ever equal. Realizing that your greatest insights come from this more awakened aspect, not your human intellect, can give you a truer perspective and increase your humility. These intuitive hits can also tell you when it's best to speak or remain silent. Negative, you feel overwhelmed by a chaotic flood of information and misinformation. With AI's rapidly improving ability to convincingly imitate writing styles, images, voices, and video, it keeps getting harder to tell what is and is not authentic. One recent example my partner and I saw, we saw a Joe Dispenza video. It wasn't him talking, but it was images and his voice, which sounded very much like his voice, insisting that living alone is better than being in any kind of relationship. And there was a lot of mention of things he's talked about previously, which seemed to be supporting the argument. And it just didn't seem in sync with what we'd heard him say before. And when I checked with a friend of mine who has been to his recent retreat and has been a Joe Dispenza fan for years, he said, that doesn't sound like him either. I think that maybe was an AI fake. So our suspicion is that AI wrote the script, AI imitated Joe Dispenza's voice, and they passed it off as a Joe Dispenza video, and it wasn't even on the Joe Dispenza official site. So In terms of how do you tell what's fake and what's not, soon it will be pretty much impossible to tell just through the evidence of your senses. The AI fakes are getting so good. What will definitely always let you know is if you turn to your own inner wisdom, then your higher self always knows what's real and what's fake. And if you can develop a good channel of communication, in fact, instead of me riffing, why don't I just read what I wrote here? Positive. Your higher self always knows what's authentic. Develop a clear channel of communication with it and ask it whenever you need to know if something is the real deal. Negative. Life feels overwhelmingly chaotic. Positive. Ongoing surprises and anomalies bring unexpected information and surprising synchronicities to guide you. This lets you take pleasure in surfing the shifting waves and currents of these unpredictable times. So here's the summary of Uranus in Gemini. Negative summary. Nervous restlessness and overstimulation lead to rushing thoughts. Impractical ideas cause erratic thinking and lack of focus. Quick judgments or excessive talking lead to upsetting surprises. You can feel confused and overwhelmed by chaotic information and misinformation. Life feels overwhelmingly chaotic. Positive. Delighting in mental novelty leads to exciting interests and new ideas. Intellectual independence fosters flexibility and openness to new ideas. Receiving intuitive flashes from your higher self increases your humility and perspective. Your higher self knows what's authentic. Develop a clear channel of communication. Ongoing surprises bring unexpected information and synchronicities. Would you like to speed up your healing and awakening as part of an uplifting community of dedicated awakeners like you? Then check out Awakening Plus, the affordable online membership that can put your personal transformation into high gear. You can choose from about 15 Zoom calls every month, as well as an ever-expanding archive of over 750 events that can profoundly change your life. You'll also benefit from 3 major courses and much more to help you awaken, heal, and thrive. To find out more, click the link in the show notes or visit awakeningplus.com. That's awakeningplus.com. Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto first entered Aquarius in 2023, late March through mid-June. He returned to Aquarius for most of 2024, January 20th through August 31st. On November 19 of 2024, Pluto locked into Aquarius for almost 18 and a half years through March 8 of 2043. Pluto will spend about 20 years in Aquarius in total, profoundly influencing 2 historic decades. Negative. A tendency toward driving manic energies can lead to willfulness and impatience, self-righteous radicalism, and fanatical idealism. An obsession with change at any cost can empower strange impulses. This can hijack more pressing issues and lead to harmful rebellion. Positive. The titanic quest for human freedom and individuation, combined with the monumental assertion of human reason and willpower, drives impulses toward reform and renewal. This quest fuels progress and transformation through the forces of evolution and revolution, unleashing power and intensifying rebellious urges. Negative. Intense hubris and ego inflation create a feeling of being above conventional morality. This can lead to a maniacal, doomed brilliance. Positive. Driving feelings of higher purpose and direction create a sense of human history being driven toward a transcendent evolutionary goal. You feel inspired to play your part in this epic undertaking to serve the highest good of all. Negative. Primal destructive energies and the unbridled id, experienced as a seething cauldron, can lead to sexual addiction or carelessness. Positive. The quest for deep transcendence and rebirth creates an epic drive onward. This journey includes sexual revolutions and awakenings, leading to the life-affirming liberation of primal energies. Negative. Efforts to force external revolution without healing your own wounded psyche can make the problem worse. Positive. You can engage in a profound death and rebirth struggle, leading to liberation through the emotional underworld. This journey culminates in volcanic ecstasy. Negative. Cataclysmic forces of anarchy and upheaval can lead to roller coaster rides of unpredictable change. Violent attempts at breakthroughs bring freedom paired with vengeance, resulting in turmoil, disruption, and chaotic energy. This can lead to collective hysteria. Positive. There is an epic struggle for advancement in democratic and civil rights, female empowerment and gay rights. The liberation of primal energies and erotic emancipation are also significant. Technological revolutions and ecological awareness reshape society along with the empowerment of youth. Now we're going to have a partial summary of Pluto and Aquarius based on what I've said so far. Negative. Manic energies lead to willfulness, impatience, and harmful rebellion. Hubris and ego inflation create a feeling of being above morality. Primal destructive energies can lead to sexual addiction or carelessness. Forcing external revolution without healing your psyche can make problems worse. Anarchy and upheaval can lead to unpredictable change and collective hysteria. Positive. The quest for freedom and individuation drives progress and transformation. Higher purpose and direction inspire participation in an epic undertaking. The quest for transcendence and rebirth leads to the liberation of primal energies. Engagement in a death and rebirth struggle leads to liberation and ecstasy. Struggle for democratic rights, empowerment, and ecological awareness reshapes society. Now, let's get into Pluto itself, which of course is the planet in Aquarius. For starters, Pluto represents death and rebirth. If something is not optimal, Pluto wants to either help you release it completely or help you transform or heal it so it serves your highest good. Two other major meanings of Pluto are wealth and power. Obviously, wealth can be money or physical possessions, but it can also be anything you value, whether it's tangible or intangible. This is a good time to let the universe know what specific manifestations of wealth are most important to you. Power comes in two basic flavors. Service to self-power is greedy, manipulative, and ruthless, with no concern for anything beyond selfish gratification. Service to other power uses power for the greater good, with more concern for others than yourself. When you walk far enough on this path, helping others becomes your greatest pleasure. Pluto entering Aquarius is a great time to clarify how you're using power now and how you want to use it moving forward. Pluto also rules the occult, which need not be creepy. Occult just means hidden. In astronomy, for example, occultation happens when an object is blocked by something passing between it and the observer. Pluto rules lots of things that are not visible or are not obviously apparent to the five senses. Astrology is an occult art, for example, along with things like channeling, psychic abilities, and mediumship. Pluto also rules psychology and trauma healing. So Pluto in Aquarius could also stir up some unhealed emotional wounds. This is a good time to have a quick and effective DIY shadow work technique on hand, such as the free healing invocation I mentioned earlier. Once again, that's linked in the show notes, where you can go to astroshaman.com/invocations. Now, what about Aquarius? Aquarius can make it easier to fly your freak flag. Internally embrace what's unique and special about yourself and share it with the world to the greatest extent that serves highest good. Aquarius rules intuitive hits. These can come more easily and be easier to act on. The highest Aquarian expression is to serve others with those special talents you most love to use. From a community perspective, Aquarius can be progressive, compassionate, justice-focused, and freedom-loving. The 11th astrological archetype can be visionary, idealistic, and humanitarian, as well as philanthropic, socially engaged, and reform-minded. From a more individual perspective, Aquarius can be ingenious, brilliant, and avant-garde. It can be inquisitive and open-minded. Finally, Aquarius can be determined, technology-focused, creative, and independent. When you put Pluto and Aquarius together, you get big change now. Because Aquarius carries the same energy as Uranus, Pluto in Aquarius is reminiscent of the 1960s. A Pluto-Uranus conjunction potently influenced history from 1960 to 1972. This is the biggest astrological reason why that was such a chaotic and radically transformative decade all over the world. Things always get intense when we join the 8th archetype, represented here by Pluto, and the 11th archetype, represented by Aquarius. It is once again time for big change now. Some of this global change will be beyond your control, but you have plenty of choice about the big changes you want in your own life. Pluto in Aquarius is perfect for rapidly accelerating your personal journey of transformation and evolution. You can't control everything in your personal life. Your higher self will make sure you get the experiences you need to fulfill your life purpose. Some might be delightful, while some might be challenging. A lot depends on how willingly you get on board with what you incarnated to do as a human being. I find one particular insight especially helpful. I have experienced that doing effective shadow work is the fastest path to spiritual awakening and personal evolution. I explain this as the great onion of consciousness in my book. That's called Instant Divine Assistance, Your Complete Guide to Fast and Easy Spiritual Awakening, Healing, and More. It's on Amazon. I believe my willingness to face my unhealed traumas and heal them using quick and effective methods is the main reason I have never had to suffer through a dark night of the soul. Pluto rules trauma healing and shadow work. The lightning-quick energy of Aquarius can help you do it faster than you might have thought possible. The free healing invocation, I'm now mentioning for the third time, has helped thousands heal their old traumas quickly, easily, and efficiently, and it might work even better with Pluto in Aquarius. You can learn even more about Pluto and Aquarius in my 2024 full year forecast. The Pluto and Aquarius section is 18 minutes long. Information not included here includes a historical overview of the two prior Pluto and Aquarius periods in the 1500s and 1700s. Both were times of momentous revolutionary energy that profoundly changed the course of human history, including the Protestant Reformation and the American Revolution. I also discuss how Pluto and Aquarius will affect wealth, government, technology, war, and climate change. You can click the link in the show notes to learn more. So now let's have our second summary of Pluto and Aquarius. Pluto's meanings: death, rebirth, wealth, and power. Encourages transformation or healing of non-optimal situations. Wealth and power. Wealth is money, possessions, and anything else you value, tangible or intangible. Service to self-power is greedy and manipulative. Service to other power serves the highest good of all. Pluto in Aquarius, time to clarify how you use power. Rules the occult, psychology, and trauma healing. Can stir up unhealed emotional wounds, making it a great time for shadow work. Aquarius traits. Embrace your uniqueness and share it for the highest good. Use intuitive hits to guide your actions. Serve others with the special talents you love. Community perspective, progressive, compassionate, justice-focused, and freedom-loving, visionary, idealistic, humanitarian, and socially engaged. Individual perspective, ingenious, brilliant, avant-garde, inquisitive, and open-minded, determined, technology-focused, creative, and independent. Big change now. Reminiscent of the transformative 1960s, personal transformation and evolution are accelerated. Your higher self will give you experiences to help you accomplish your life purpose, and shadow work is crucial for spiritual awakening and personal evolution. All right, on to those outer planet aspects. We will start with Neptune sextile Pluto. Have you ever heard of the 100-year sextile? This refers to an extraordinarily enduring aspect between Neptune and Pluto. A sextile, by the way, is a 60-degree aspect. When my astrology mentor, Kelly Lee Phipps, told me about the 100-year sextile, at first I did not believe him, but it turns out he was right, and then some. The Neptune-Pluto sextile is in orb, which means close enough to connect, from 1938 through mid-2041. Unless you are 86 years old or older, you have this sextile in your natal chart. Amazingly, Neptune and Pluto make 49 exact sextiles between 1950 and 2032. By the way, astronomically, this long-lasting sextile is possible because Pluto's orbit is wildly eccentric and elliptical. It could be easy to ignore an aspect that, for most of us, has simply always been there. Fortunately, its omnipresence does not reduce its potential. Negative. States of confusion and loss of reference, coupled with profound illusions or delusions, can lead to weakened purpose or willpower. This can feel like dissolving or disintegration. You don't know whether to force something or just go with the flow. Positive. Powerful religious and spiritual yearnings urge you toward spiritual regeneration. The questing human soul seeks the destruction of illusion as it strives for deeper truths. Negative. A sense of pervasive evil and corruption, along with unconscious yearnings for power, can manifest as strange obsessions or compulsions. Cravings for an intoxicated state can lead to addiction, but addictions can never fulfill the genuine yearning for transcendence. Positive. Impulses to find a wider spiritual context for humanity's darkest behaviors drive efforts to understand the interplay between our higher and lower natures. The instinct to face and take responsibility for your shadow material leads to a more profound spirituality. The profound catharsis of repressed emotions opens or widens the pathway to divine consciousness. The divine is experienced as all-inspiring and powerful, and can be experienced by dissolving into spirit. Negative. You feel inundated by intense surges of challenging emotions. Because you don't know how to heal them, you habitually push them back down. But these painful emotions won't stay stuffed and keep threatening to overwhelm you. Positive. Alternations of oceanic and volcanic ecstasy lead to powerful energetic release, followed by blessed peace and relaxation. Volcanic purging resolves in states of oceanic bliss, culminating in sacred catharsis. So here's the summary of Neptune sextile Pluto. Negative. Confusion and illusions weaken purpose and willpower. Evil and corruption lead to obsessions and addiction. You can feel inundated by challenging emotions. Positive. Spiritual yearnings drive regeneration and deeper truths. Understanding dark behaviors leads to profound spirituality. Oceanic and volcanic ecstasy lead to energetic release and peace. Next, Uranus sextile Neptune. The sextile between Uranus and Neptune lasts off and on for 10 years. It started connecting here and there from mid-2021 through early 2023, but it's consistently in orb May 10, 2023 through September 6 of 2029. The sextile reconnects intermittently through mid-2031. During most of the time it's not in orb during this 10-year period, Uranus and Neptune instead make a magical 72-degree quintile aspect. So they're connecting one way or another. The Uranus-Neptune sextile is exact 5 times on August 28, November 20th, July 15 of 2026, January 15 of 2027, and June 6 of 2027. Negative. You could be drawn into excessive escapism or fantasy, leading to delusion and denial. These tendencies can manifest as narcissism and avoidance. This can lead to gullibility, impressionability, and poor discernment. Positive. Breakthroughs and revolutions in consciousness lead to quantum leaps in awareness, inspiring a new spirit and a change of realities. This journey fosters a universal rebirth of vision and transcendence. This integrated rebirth is empowered by the awareness that human consciousness is born from divine consciousness. This capacity allows you to see beyond the virtual reality of material incarnation, even while you wholeheartedly enjoy your human life. You gain a rich appreciation for the cosmic game of incarnation and awakening set in play by divine intelligence. You become less obsessed with man-made games and delight in mastering the game of living as a human on Earth. Negative. Spiritual or religious extremism can lead to abstract idealism and mystical hubris. Positive. The idea of universal redemption promotes liberation for all, celebrating variety and pluralism through inclusive solutions. This embraces a reality filled with mystical and reverent feelings, religious and spiritual breakthroughs, miracles, and epiphanies. It encourages leaps of faith, blissful transcendence, and blessed enlightenment, culminating in a cosmic shout of hallelujah. Negative. A feeling of strange energies can lead to confusion and disorientation, resulting in states of hypersensitivity and instability. You can also feel tired and fatigued. Positive. You awaken to a higher level, which replaces confusion and disorientation with spiritual clarity and a new baseline of embodied awakening. At this level, you're large enough to comfortably contain the same energies that were previously so challenging. Your new divine connection replaces tiredness and fatigue with boundless energy and vitality. Negative. Fearful societies increasingly deploy racist and xenophobic rhetoric against people from other cultures and countries, especially those who want to immigrate. Positive. Increased ethnic splintering occurs alongside a heightened blending of world cultures. This paradoxical dynamic involves the reclamation of cultural uniqueness, leading to greater interconnection. Positive. Uranus-Neptune transits are among the most supportive for reaching transcendent states, like a spotlight or telescope beaming straight up and through to the numinous realms. These archetypes can help you access divine consciousness regardless of any challenging material you're working to heal. Summary of Uranus sextile Neptune. Negative. Escapism and fantasy can lead to delusion, denial, and poor discernment. Spiritual extremism can lead to abstract idealism and mystical hubris. Strange energies cause confusion, hypersensitivity, and fatigue. Racist and xenophobic rhetoric against immigrants. Positive. Breakthroughs in consciousness lead to quantum leaps in awareness. Universal redemption promotes liberation and inclusive solutions. Awakening replaces confusion with spiritual clarity and vitality. Increased ethnic splintering and blending of world cultures. Uranus-Neptune transits support transcendent states and divine consciousness. Uranus trine Pluto. The trine between Uranus and Pluto started coming into orb in the summer of 2021. The duration of its orb increased each year until the trine locked in on April 25th of 2024. This period of its strongest influence continues throughout 5.5 years through September 7 of 2029. Then the trine sporadically reconnects through mid-2032. This Uranus-Pluto trine is exact 5 times on July 17 of 2026, November 29 of 2026, June 15 of 2027, January 13 of 2028, and May 9th of 2028. I do not have to interpret this for you because I already have. Remember what I said about Pluto in Aquarius? The same ideas apply to Uranus trine Pluto, since both setups involve the 8th and 11th astrology archetypes. To be specific, Pluto is the 8th archetype, and Aquarius and Uranus share the 11th archetype. However, the Uranus-Pluto trine further empowers everything I said about Pluto and Aquarius, and the trine, which is a harmonious aspect, can make working with these energies smoother and easier. Mini Grand Trine. The outer planets are called the gods of change, and for good reason. When they line up in certain ways, major changes happen. One well-known example is the Uranus-Pluto conjunction. As I mentioned earlier, this world-changing aspect was felt throughout the 60s and early 70s. Its radical big change now energy revolutionized people and countries everywhere. The potent Uranus-Neptune conjunction was strong from the late 80s through the late 90s. It coincided with the collapse of the Soviet Union and the end of the Cold War. More equitable societal structures arose around the world. The internet took off, and huge numbers of people started exploring spiritual awakening and alternative spirituality. These were 2-planet combinations, but what's happening now involves all 3 outer planets. With the game-changing energies of Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto combined, the effects could be even more transformative. Fortunately, these 3 gods of change are in a harmonious aspect pattern. It's called a mini grand trine, created entirely from soft astrology aspects, 2 60-degree sextiles and 1 120-degree trine, to be precise. This can make it easier to create life-affirming outcomes. The transformative potentials of this mini grand trine will remain strong through mid-2030. In 2025, the power of the mini grand trine will peak on August 28th. The 3 planets will all be within 1 degree of their aspect to each other August 12th through October 7th. They'll be within 2 degrees July 23rd through November 13th, and within 3 degrees July 7th through December 3rd. Even this 3-degree orb can create potent effects. How unusual is this alignment? There hasn't been an alignment of the 3 outer planets this powerful since the 1770s. 250 years ago, an outer planet's grand trine in the form of an equilateral triangle coincided with the U.S. Declaration of Independence. What about the future? We won't have another outer planets alignment this strong until the 2190s. That's 170 years from now. So this really is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Let's examine some positive and negative potentials of this mini grand trine. Negative. Tendencies toward ideological extremism and fanaticism can lead to obsessive rebellion or eccentricity. Positive. Mystical empowerment of freedom and democracy fosters critical attitudes toward religious or political abuse of power. This perspective is driven by profound idealism and faith. Negative. Evolutionary potentials are unwisely channeled into misguided or ineffective political pursuits. Positive. Blessed win-win solutions and the transcendence of duality lead to a sense of human history as progressing inexorably toward an omega point of collective awakening. Human progress is seen as cosmically ordained. Negative. Immersion in extreme fantasies or delusions. Positive. Breakthrough into a divine reality that transcends your wildest dreams and is far better than any human fantasy. Delusion is replaced by an ecstatic cosmic awareness that can be experienced but never expressed in words. Negative. Indulgence and hedonism can be obsessively idealized and pursued. Positive. The pleasures of the five human senses are appropriately experienced and enjoyed, but since no physical pleasure can compare with the indescribable bliss of divine consciousness, sensual indulgence and hedonism are not a primary focus. Negative. You're aware of the emotional pain you feel because of your unhealed trauma, but you're too scared to dive into it. Or you're holding back because you don't know how to heal it and are afraid of being overwhelmed by it. Positive. An ability to navigate the psychological depths involving a descent into the underworld followed by a spiritual surrender and blessed reawakening into the realm of absolute consciousness. This journey includes the successful elimination of the psyche's outworn elements. Negative. A sense that the world at large is doomed to experience endless conflict, or conversely, a belief that the golden age is coming no matter what, and there's nothing you personally have to do but wait for it. Positive. A sense that collective emancipation is possible, but only when enough people do their individual inner work. So now let's do a partial summary of this mini grand trine. Negative. Ideological extremism can lead to obsessive rebellion or eccentricity. Evolutionary potentials can be channeled into misguided political pursuits. Submersion in extreme fantasies or delusions. Indulgence in hedonism is idealized and pursued. Emotional pain from unhealed trauma causes fear and avoidance. Belief in endless conflict or passively waiting for a golden age. Positive. Mystical empowerment fosters critical attitudes toward abuse of power. Win-win solutions and transcendence of duality lead to collective awakening. Breakthrough into divine reality replaces delusion with cosmic awareness. Sensual pleasures are enjoyed, but divine consciousness is the focus. Navigating psychological depths leads to spiritual awakening. Collective emancipation is possible through individual inner work. Now, let's examine how the combined power of the gods of change is impacting your natal chart and how you can harness this once-in-a-lifetime power to take your life to extraordinary new heights. From now through mid-2030, this transiting gods of change aspect pattern will impact over half of your natal chart. Any planet or sensitive point between 0 and 15.5 degrees of any sign, or between 27 and 29 degrees, will be lit up by these monumental astrological forces. Right now, Uranus and Neptune are also firing up your chart between 24 and 26 degrees. For many people, these will be the most impactful astrology transits of their entire life. These winds of change are already here and getting stronger. Do you want to be blown around like a plastic bag, or do you want to proactively partner with the planets to co-create your most wonderful life ever? I strongly recommend co-creation. To make the best of this extraordinary opportunity, you'll need to know when the outer planets are stimulating your sensitive natal planets and points. And you'll need your astrological symbols and archetypes explained in plain English. This will tell you which areas of life to focus on to reap the greatest benefit and when to do it. Please consider having me do this for you. I've done over 10,000 astrology readings for a global clientele and have won 3 Best Astrologer awards. To make your reading even more helpful, I'll also tell you about any other transiting planets significantly affecting you. And I'll give you any important insights from other astrological movement systems, such as secondary progressions, solar arcs, and solar returns, all explained in plain English, of course. Finally, if it's the best use of any remaining time, I can also guide you in experiential processes that might include spiritual awakening, healing, and more. I'm even running a special on my Astrology Plus readings. For a limited time, you can save up to $150. Prepaying your reading now will let you lock in these special low prices before they expire. Then you can schedule your reading at your earliest convenience. Click the link in the show notes to learn more, or go to astroshaman.com/special. Now, let's talk about social planet sign changes. Saturn in Aries. Saturn enters Aries on May 24th, beginning another 29.5-year run through the zodiac. He'll remain in Aries for almost 3 years, through April 12th of 2028. Negative. Experiencing your job as a grind or being subjected to oppressive work regimens can lead to feelings of grouchiness and irritability. You could even feel the urge to smash something. Be wary of butting heads, hammering across your point of view, emphasizing differences, or inflaming old problems. Positive. Hard work and persistence can drive deliberate and determined outputs of energy. These urges compel you to test your mettle, put your nose to the grindstone, and confront challenges head on. Steady perseverance despite problems, coupled with instincts to proceed slowly and carefully, can lead to success. As the Stoics say, the obstacle is the way. Developing practical work skills can reap concrete results from your efforts. There's a desire to nail down projects and complete tasks. There can be slow beginnings followed by sustained endings. You can also arrange deliberate endings as needed. Negative. Boundary collisions can lead to willfully focused aggression and hardened attitudes. This can cause feelings of anger, fear, bitterness, and hate. You could experience or encounter menace and vindictiveness, repressed or smoldering anger, cold rage, or deliberate cruelty. Guard against feeling like a victim while acting as a perpetrator. Positive. An awareness of the karmic effects of all aggressive actions can foster active temperance and forbearance. You can practice non-aggression and oppose violence. This mindset can encourage mindful action or non-action. You can also learn to act without attachment to the outcome. Negative. Feeling paralyzed by inhibited or frustrated energies or unhealed trauma could lead to fear-driven action. Positive. Saturn in Aries can help you get serious about your most challenging inner material. This could include healing trauma related to memories of harsh punishment or abuse from childhood, or claustrophobia and suffocation in the birth canal. Deliberately feeling your hatred in order to purge it from your psyche can help you win the battle against fear. I recommend doing this with my free healing invocation, which creates a safe container and adds the potent healing power of your higher self to the process. Once again, this is linked in the show notes, where you can go to astroshaman.com/invocations. Negative. Job grind and oppressive work regimens can lead to irritability and conflict. Boundary collisions can cause aggression, anger, or cruelty. You could feel paralyzed by frustrated energies or unhealed trauma. Positive. Hard work and persistence lead to success and practical skills. Awareness of karmic effects fosters non-aggression and mindful action. Saturn in Aries can help heal trauma and overcome fear. Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter enters Cancer on June 9th. He remains there for just over a year, through June 30th of 2026. Negative. Tendencies toward materialism, waste, and overconsumption can lead to self-indulgence and gluttony. Being overly concerned with status and prestige can make you want more than you need and make you feel entitled. Expecting creature comforts and taking things for granted could make you act spoiled. Positive. Feelings of happiness and well-being lead to satisfaction and contentment. Natural kindness and generosity promote urges to give and receive nurturing. Your personal code of ethics and feelings act as your truth. Negative. Feelings of snobbery and cliquishness can lead to self-righteousness, arrogance, hypocrisy, and false concern. This can lead to milked emotions and playing for sympathy. The result can be overdone or affected feelings and displays of emotional excess and dramatics in daily life. Positive. Tolerance and acceptance, along with open-hearted appreciation and concern for others, can help you live a compassionate and harmonious life. Negative. Differences in belief between you and your family could create conflict. Positive. Nurturing feminine energy supports feelings of domestic well-being. This could include a large and welcoming home, positive values, and a tolerant and supportive family culture. Community values and cooperative living can create a rich sense of community. Negative. Materialism and overconsumption can lead to self-indulgence and gluttony. Concern with status and prestige can breed entitlement and spoiled behavior. Snobbery and cliquishness can lead to arrogance and hypocrisy. Differences in belief with family can create conflict. Positive. Happiness and well-being lead to satisfaction and contentment. Kindness and generosity promote nurturing. Tolerance and acceptance foster compassion and harmony. Nurturing feminine energy supports domestic well-being and community values. Amazon has significantly updated their AI summary of my book's customer reviews. Here's what it says at the moment. Quote, customers find the book provides simple invocations that are beneficial and effective for spiritual development. They find the content easy to understand and implement with clear instructions. The invocations provide healing for the soul and an experience of peace and euphoria. Readers describe the techniques as powerful and amazing. The author's writing style is described as excellent and brilliant. They appreciate the personal stories and healing examples from the book. Customers mention that the invocations work quickly and start experiencing results and shifts within 1 to 24 hours. Overall, customers find the book an engaging read with chapter summaries. End quote. Thank you, Amazon's AI. Also, according to Amazon's AI, my book ranks highly for insight, ease of reading, healing power, effectiveness, author's writing, mind control, pacing, and readability. Yay! My #1 bestseller is called Instant Divine Assistance, your complete guide to fast and easy spiritual awakening, healing, and more. If you like to listen, my audiobook is free if you're not yet an Audible member. Instant Divine Assistance is also available as an ebook, paperback, and hardcover. Click a link in the show notes to check it out on Audible or Amazon, or read it in Kindle Unlimited. Other aspects. Saturn sextile Uranus. A sextile between Saturn and Uranus is an orb for 15 months. The effects begin on January 11 of 2025 and last through April 16 of 2026. There are 3 exact sextiles on April 4th, 2025, August 11 of 2025, and January 19 of 2026. Negative. One-sided extremism can lead to unpleasant consequences. Note whether impulses to act spring from fear or life-affirming adventurousness. Tipping into negativity may result in rude awakenings and lost freedom. You could also experience unexpected problems, disruptions, or delays. Be careful not to forget your ideals. Positive. Responsible and balanced freedom can be created through careful and cautious change. This might involve incremental openings and awakenings. Methodically facing problems and finding solutions can demonstrate the liberating benefits of structure and routine. Finally, when an intuitive hit calls you to action, get to work on it. An inability to hold rigid positions or stay stuck permanently can lead to working out specific karmic problems. This process can give you unexpected rewards for your pain. Death in one place can lead to rebirth elsewhere, which is reflected in the breakdown of outworn structures. In 2024, we've seen all kinds of structures falling rapidly, governmental, business, and personal, because their time is past. It's time for better and more conscious structures to rise. There may be some cases in which a darker, more self-serving structure will rise. The forces of darkness are also players in this great game. But as a light worker, if you see an old structure going down, you can help create a more luminous structure in its place. There is no going back to normal. Do we really want to perpetuate the current culture of ever-increasing division, hostility, and dehumanization? Do we want to continue destroying the global environment we all depend on? The only viable way forward for us humans and everything else on Earth is to create a better reality than the old one. There's one more Saturn sextile Uranus opportunity I would like to explore. Transcending time and causality lets you overcome the need for external security and lets you remain undisturbed by any extreme. These are just a few of the benefits of you functioning as conscious spirit awareness while manifesting in physical form. The only way to transcend time and causality is to awaken to the part of you that's in a higher dimension beyond time and causality. Likewise, you overcome an obsession with external physical security by connecting with the indestructible part of you beyond the physical world. Once you experience the immortal part of you that cannot be harmed, your luminous soul, it's easier for your human self to relax. Even if your human body dies, you're guaranteed all the incarnations you need for your soul journey. Not only that, I believe that the game is rigged and everybody wins. The finish line for every soul is ultimately the same: divine union. There is simply nowhere else to go. Negative. One-sided extremism can lead to unpleasant consequences and loss of freedom. Fear-driven impulses can cause rude awakenings and unexpected problems. The inability to hold rigid positions can lead to karmic blowback. Forces of darkness can create self-serving structures. There could be harsher divisions and more environmental destruction. Positive. Balanced freedom through careful change and incremental openings. Facing problems methodically reaps the benefits of structure and routine. Death in one place leads to glorious rebirth elsewhere. As a light worker, you can help create luminous structures to replace old, dying realities. You can transcend time, causality, and an obsession with external security. Awakening to higher dimensions lets you become conscious as your indestructible soul. You can relax into the immortal part of you that cannot be harmed. Jupiter sextile Chiron. A sextile between Jupiter and Chiron is initially in orb August 7, 2024 through January 27, 2025. Its first two sextiles were in late 2024. The Jupiter-Chiron sextile will be in orb again in 2025, early March through late June, with a final sextile on May 18 of 2025. These planets share some similar meanings. Chiron is the mentor, while Jupiter is the professor, philosopher, or guru. So both planets support you in giving or receiving wisdom. Jupiter is especially keen on insights from other cultures. This is a wonderful time to expand your knowledge where it counts or share your insights with others. Chiron is the wounded healer. His expansion by Jupiter can trigger your unhealed traumas, but you also have expanded energy available to heal your emotional wounds. This is a great time to get wisdom or healing support from others or act as a healer or wisdom giver for others. Jupiter's placement in Gemini amplifies your opportunities for learning, teaching, writing, and communication. Chiron rules mentorship, so this can be a great time to go deeper with your learning or teaching opportunities. Jupiter square Saturn. Expand or contract. See the glass as half full or half empty. Dance in ecstatic celebration or top off your emergency supplies. With Jupiter square Saturn, you might be pulled in both directions. This aspect's influence lasts nearly 13 months. Jupiter and Saturn came into orb on July 6 of 2024 and made their first exact square on August 19 of 2024. The second exact Jupiter-Saturn square was December 24th of 2024, while the final square will be on June 15 of 2025. This aspect's influence will finally end on July 31st of 2025. Be flexible. Sometimes Jupiter, the planet of expansion, optimism, and celebration, will lead. Jupiter may also invite you to focus on philosophy, religion, and foreign travel or influences. At other times, he'd Saturn, who embodies seriousness, maturity, boundaries, and limitation. He may call for you to focus on your goals, planning your work, and working your plan. The signs of the social planets add other life-affirming potentials. Jupiter is in Gemini, while Saturn is in Pisces. This supports intuitively inspired thinking and communication, as well as enhanced law of attraction ability. It's easier to brainstorm to achieve practical outcomes, and you can balance blissfully productive periods in the zone with downtime for playful celebration. This is the waxing square of the Great Conjunction of 2020. This marks the first major turning point of that momentous Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, one of this decade's most important influences. To learn how to make the best use of this Great Conjunction cycle, click the link in the show notes. Jupiter squares Saturn and Neptune. Jupiter squares Saturn and Neptune for 3 months in 2025. This aspect comes into orb on April 29th, peaks on June 17, and ends on July 30th. Negative. The bursting of grandiose illusions can lead to deflated hopes and dreams. Hollow religious rituals and dogmas and mundane busyness can obscure the depths of your spiritual imprisonment. Positive. Philosophical and spiritual maturity can support practical idealism and compassion. Mystical consciousness can help you achieve balance and humility. You can experience the positive sides of adversity and challenge. You have abundant support for embodied awakening, law of attraction manifestation, and conscious dissolution. Jupiter square Neptune. A Jupiter-Neptune square was in orb but not yet exact September through November of 2024. In 2025, the square is in orb April 29th through August 2nd and is exact on June 18th. On the more challenging side, Jupiter could expand Neptune's potential for addiction, substance abuse, or excessive escapism. Avoid aimless wandering or martyring yourself in a relationship. There's expanded potential for confusion, delusion, and deception, so watch out for false teachings. Reality check ideas with your inner guidance if you can access it. Otherwise, vet them however you can to avoid getting sucked into a compelling falsehood. The 4 core questions from the work of Byron Katie are especially helpful during this conjunction. Is this true? Can you absolutely know that it's true? How do you react when you believe that thought? What happens? And who would you be without the thought? I like to add a 5th question. Can you hold all beliefs as conditional and potentially subject to revision or replacement? This Jupiter-Neptune square can also support many wonderful things, including life-affirming spiritual teachings, religious practices focused on direct personal enlightenment, deeply enhanced flow states, easy access to spiritual awakening, deeply enhanced divine inspiration and creative inspiration, expanding your inner artistry, gaining wisdom from dreams, and gaining deep insight from your inner wisdom. Jupiter square Chiron. This is the second aspect between Jupiter and Chiron in 2025. I already interpreted the Jupiter-Chiron sextile. It runs through late January, then is in orb again early March through late June. The Jupiter-Chiron square starts on August 26 of 2025 and is in orb for almost a year through August 18 of 2026. There are 3 exact squares on October 23rd of 2025, December 21st of 2025, and July 1st of 2026. The archetypal possibilities of Jupiter and Chiron are the same as before. To review them, go to the show notes and click on the link for Jupiter sextile Chiron. The main difference is that a square usually brings more challenge than a sextile. The other change is that Jupiter is in Cancer during the square. I interpreted this placement earlier in this forecast. For a review, go to the show notes and click on the link for Jupiter in Cancer. Other aspect patterns. An aspect pattern is created by 3 or more planets that form a geometrical figure. I've already discussed the most important aspect pattern of 2025, the mini grand trine, with the gods of change Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. In fact, as I noted, that mini grand trine is the most important astrological event of this entire decade. In preparing this presentation, I also identified 9 other significant aspect patterns. But given the amount of detailed information we have already covered, I'm guessing that you would rather not endure a detailed breakdown of each one. So I'll go easy on you. As it turns out, the 4 most important aspect patterns all add planets to the mini grand trine. In addition, they're all harmonious. So it's enough to say that these aspect patterns can help you focus the tremendous power of Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto into potent, effective action. So here they are. An envelope adds Mars, Saturn, and the lunar nodes to the 3 gods of change. It starts on March 31st, peaks on April 18, and ends on April 27th. A very tight kite adds Mars and Saturn to the outer planets. Starts on July 25th, peaks on August 9th, and ends on August 24th. Another envelope adds Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, starts October 26, peaks November 2nd, and ends November 11. And finally, a cradle adds Jupiter and Saturn, starts October 6, peaks November 13, and ends on December 22nd. Lunations. In 2025, there are 9 lunations empowered by outer planets. You'll have extra power from one or more of the gods of change during the 2 weeks following these lunar events. The exceptions are 2 eclipses whose effects last at least 6 months. Here they are in chronological order. A Cancer full moon on January 13, a Virgo lunar eclipse on March 14th, Taurus new moon on April 27th, Cancer new moon on June 25th, Leo new moon on July 24th, Virgo new moon on August 23rd, a Virgo solar eclipse on September 21st, a Libra new moon on October 21st, and a Scorpio new moon on November 20th. Here's how I'm personally thinking about these extraordinary times. Some think human incarnations are a relatively brief part of a soul's multi-billion-year journey. The law of one channeled material says that Earth is challenging by design, and they say we're only here to choose one of two paths, service to other, where you're a little more concerned about others than yourself, or service to self, where you're very self-centered and really just want what you want without concern for the collateral damage you cause by doing that. And in that way of thinking, a utopian experience would actually defeat the purpose of being on Earth. It's not designed to be a paradise. It's just where you choose one path or the other, and then you spend the next several billion years at higher levels. If you chose the path of service to other, then you have ever deepening experiences of unconditional love and wisdom, which sounds pretty awesome to me. If you chose service to self, the darker path, if you will, then it's kind of like Klingons duking it out for dominance over billions of years at higher and higher levels. So that's one way of thinking about what's this all about. Others believe that this physical Earth we're on right now can become a paradise if enough people attain abiding awakening. The idea there is that enough people holding this beautiful, ecstatic consciousness, peaceful, flowing, delightful, reach a tipping point, and then the whole planet can become a lot more pleasant to be on. And I don't know which is true, but I believe that either way, your focus on personal healing and awakening is a winning strategy. So if the law of one is right and the best is yet to come at these higher levels, then aligning with the service to other path, awakening, healing, and everything you need to do personally for that will set you on that love and light track, and that puts you in a good direction. And if Earth can become a paradise right here, right now in this physical body, then this kind of consciousness will help bring it about. And even if there's other possibilities out there, my experience suggests, as I watch myself and as I watch my clients and my Awakening Plus members, that doing the best you can to be as awakened as you can and to heal your stuff, which deepens the awakening, just makes your life better. This is based on the principle of as within, so without, a well-established spiritual principle. I know that over the years, as I've become more awakened and I'm sitting more in a peaceful consciousness, then magically, truly magically, the world around me has transformed and is more peaceful. I might be living in the same world as other people in the same town, but the actual things I experience and the events that come to me are typically and broadly more harmonious and more peaceful and more pleasant than people who are living in a more jagged and discordant consciousness. So it makes your own little paradise in your own little bubble personally. And this is not to isolate yourself. Your bubble radiates. And because we're all connected, the Hindus call this Indra's web, and some people call it the butterfly effect. Every person who is peaceful and harmonious spreads that energy about and makes it more available to everyone else. So you uplift others by uplifting yourself first. Another benefit of deepening your awakening is you're able to hold paradoxical views. For example, from one perspective, from the great cosmic perspective, what happens on Earth doesn't matter at all. It's one planet out of an infinite number, and the fate of that one planet would hardly be noticed by the universe. From the other perspective, the human part, it's supremely important. And the weird thing about going deeper into awakening is you can hold all views at the same time. So part of me, the Benjamin part, the human part, is profoundly devoted to the path of love and light and will do what it can to, spread this beautifully around the planet as people are interested in going in that direction. The part of me that it's a higher level and is a being of unconditional love, which we all have. We all have that part, whether we're conscious of it or not. It just unconditionally accepts everything. Everything is fine no matter what's happening on the planet. So being able to hold these paradoxical views makes things easier. When Benjamin starts getting concerned about something happening on the planet, Benjamin can connect with his higher part that says all is well. And again, this is not a recipe for apathy. You don't think, well, it doesn't matter, so I'm not going to do anything. Again, the human part of me is highly motivated to both cultivate my own healing and awakening for my own benefit and to serve others if they want to go in that direction as well. So the paradoxes can be held comfortably the more one awakens and can access many parts of yourself.
So those are just some of my own reflections that may or may not be helpful to you, but I hope it is. And if anything I've said here in this last section is helpful to you in working with these challenging things and these amazing opportunities that are all running at the same time in 2025, then I hope that's helpful to you.
Finally, let me remind you that the Gods of Change mini grand trine will impact over half of your natal chart. These incredibly potent simultaneous transits from Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto could be the most impactful astrology transits of your life. Let me show you how to proactively partner with these planets based on the transits to your unique horoscope to co-create your most wonderful life ever. Again, I invite you to prepay your Astrology Plus reading with me now to lock in my special low prices before they expire. Click the link in the show notes to learn more, or go to astroshaman.com/special. Finally, I would love to do a follow-up video to answer questions that you have after experiencing this 2025 forecast. Put your questions in the comments under this video or email them to me at benjamin@astroshaman.com.
Thanks for being here. Once again, I'm Benjamin Bernstein with astroshaman.com. I can serve you with astrology readings, shamanic healing, and one-of-a-kind life coaching. And as I mentioned, I run the Awakening Plus online membership for spiritual support. You can learn about all this and more at astroshaman.com. Please reach out if you have any questions. My email is benjamin@astroshaman.com, and my number for voice and text is 828-338-9852. I'd love to connect with you. We are wrapping up. Please leave me a 5-star rating, review, or comment wherever you get this episode to help others discover it.
Thank you for spending this time with me. As with everything I publish, take the best and leave the rest. May the stars light your way, and may this information help you to experience a more wonderful life than you could ever have imagined.